Today we're going to jump straight into it. We're making birria tacos. And even if you don't like the taco portion, you can still just make birria with this. Well, at least it's my take on birria, I should say. Now, birria, I'm making it today with beef, not goat like it traditionally is made with, okay? Now, you watch me chop up some onions. You've watched me do it 1,000 times, so I'll give you a little background on burrilla. Okay, now burrilla comes from an old Spanish word that's used to describe something that has no value or it's of poor quality. Now, it has transitioned from that really into a, a traditional Mexican dish that's a stewed meat that's seasoned with chili peppers or it's marinated in an adobo like sauce. Okay, that's burrito for you, plain and simple. Now I'm doing my take on a burrito, so I'm not necessarily making it with a marinating in adobo sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my pressure cooker, which I know you've seen me use a lot of times in my videos too, and I know somewhere out there, which boom, look up in the upper right hand corner, you'll see that I've tried to advertise for this. Bam. So throw in some onions, right? It doesn't have to be finely chopped or diced or anything. You just do like a chop of some sort, and then garlic. Okay, we want to add some garlic. Gonna mince some of this garlic. Now, birria is surprisingly easy to make. Uh, if you cook it in the adobo, it's going to take a couple hours. If you do it in a pressure cooker, it only takes a few hours because you're trying to get it to be kind of shreddable. Sometimes you can cube it. Really, I guess it really just depends on what you're trying to do with it. Me, I like my meat shreddable. Okay. Now, some places ask you to cut up your meat and into cubes first. I didn't do that. I just threw it in here, there I go. I'm adding some cumin, garlic, onion, cinnamon sticks, bay leaves. Excuse me. Got to get some oregano in there, some pepper. We're adding some guajillo chiles, ancho chiles. Okay, and I love ancho chiles. I don't have any pasilla I don't have any pasilla for this, so we do it. Add a little bit of water. That's it. Just cook it. Now next, after it's cooked, right? You see how in my cup here, I've got my peppers. They're softened. We're gonna go ahead and add those. We're gonna add some of the stock liquid from the cooking process, and we're gonna go ahead and use a magic bullet uh, personal blender here. And we're gonna make our adobo sauce with that. Now, if you're like, well, why didn't I see it go into the steam? Man, it took me 4 hours in the steamer or in the pressure cooker to cook it. So I'm sorry. I just decided to not let you watch 4 hours of pressure cooking. So we make our adobo sauce with the chili peppers, and the reserve liquid from the cooking. Okay, and it's gonna be very nice. It's gonna be very powerful, very pungent with chili flavor, and that's really what you're trying to go for with this. Okay, so after we get it all blended up, what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and grab ourselves a nice bowl here. We're gonna take our meat out of the cooking vessel, whatever it is you use. If you use a roasting pan, if you use a baking pan, well, you shouldn't be using a baking pan, but if you use a pressure cooker, if you use a slow cooker, there people argue how to do it the right way. I did it the fast way, hence I called it my take on Korea. Okay, so anyways, you see, I add the meat to the deal, and you'll notice on top there was a cinnamon stick that had opened up. Now we just add our adobo sauce that we made earlier. All right, and I save a little bit just to go ahead and top my stuff off with later. And I might end up using it for something else anyways. That's why I always save off a little bit for myself. So we add our adobo sauce, and then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and shred it. Really easy. Use a fork. As you can see, that steam, it's hot, right? I mean, I literally had only just pulled this. I just pulled this out, right, of the pressure cooker and just went straight into the whole process because this is when the best time to catch it is right after cooking process when you're trying to shred it because it's the most moist, it's the most tender, it's the easiest to work with, and you're going to get the most flavor out of it. You wait too long and it gets too cold and the meat starts to stiffen up and get a little tough to deal with, okay? So you like to work with it it's hot. Some people will stick their hands in here and do with their hands. I have done that before. It burns even with gloves on, so I prefer to just use forks, and then if I need to shred it with my hands from there, I use my hands afterwards. All right, so I say it right so a lot of times in my videos. It's a really crazy amount. I think on the next video I make, I'm gonna go ahead and do an all right so counter, and we'll just see how many times I say that, and then you know, I don't know. We'll make a game out of it. We can try and make a game out of it. If you're interested in watching that, let's make a game out of it. We'll see. Okay, I'll figure out. We'll come up with a cool prize. I don't know, $100, $500, maybe $1,000 to Walmart or something. I don't know. Figure it out. I'm smart, right? Well, I'll pretend to be anyways. So we just shred up the meat, okay? And you can see I've got reserve liquid. To make the taco portion, I just take my tortilla. I've got Mission low carb tortillas here. And you see I've used it in plenty of videos before. I had some leftover hanging around because I made this burrito within a couple days of the last video I made. So don't worry, it's not like I'm using overly expired. So I took my tortilla and I just dipped it in the reserve liquid because I wanted that tortilla to get some of that flavor too. And then if you're looking at going, you're just basically making a quesadilla. You know what? No, I'm not making just a quesadilla. I'm making a flat pan cooked, toasted, fried, awesome taco. Okay, this is a burrilla taco. Okay, it's just got the burrito meat and cheese in it. Okay, yes, I know quesadilla. No, I'm gonna call it a taco because I want to call it a taco because it looks like a taco. Yeah, it's not big like your traditional. It's not big like your traditional quesadilla. It's just taco. You see how it's all nice and melted on the inside. We'll go ahead and put that back on there for a second. Make sure it's nice and toasty. Pull it off, and we'll just add it to our plate. Really easy. Ooh, look at some of that. Some of that burrito juice coming out the side. It's gonna be a good tasting dish there. Anyways, there you have it. Burrito tacos. If you don't like the taco piece, go ahead and just make burrito and do whatever you want with it. But as always, enjoy.